It's time for today's Face-Off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Hey, we need to talk.
This isn't working anymore.
And it's not us, it's you. We just want different things.
Our idea of a good time is relaxing on the beach.
Hitting up a spa.
Or checking out a new restaurant.
You just want to get drunk in public and ignore laws.
Do you even remember what happened last March?
That was our breaking point, so we're breaking up with you.
And don't try to apologize and come crawling back. This isn't safe, so we're done.
And just so you know, we're serious.
This March, you can expect things like curfews, bag checks, and restricted beach access.
DUI checkpoints, $100 parking, and strong police enforcement for drug possession and violence.
Whatever it takes, because it's time to move on.
Maybe we can talk when you're done with your spring break phase, but until then.
In this round, here's Quan LX.
Charles, we just watched a presentation, a video, a commercial that was put out by the city of Miami Beach's mayor and his city's administration, city council, where they're saying to spring breakers, we no longer want you coming to Miami Beach on spring break. And they gave a list of reasons why they don't want the spring breakers to come into Miami Beach anymore. But what they really did not say was the truth. You got a problem with the spring breakers now when all the black spring breakers start coming into Miami Beach for spring break. For decades, when the white kids were going to Miami Beach for spring break, they didn't have a problem with it by the tens of thousands. But now that black kids are coming and they're doing the same little infractions that white kids have done. They have the same rate of drug possession charges for misdemeanor marijuana, etc. But yet you mean to tell me that you want to break up the spring breakers when the Negroes come to town by the tens of thousands, but you didn't have that same disposition and energy when white kids did the same thing historically for decades in Miami Beach?
Well, I guess you weren't paying attention to the video, and I guess you didn't do any damn research, Quanell, because I know your default. Oh, racism. Oh, that's racism. No, what it is last year they had riots. In fact, we've seen riots all across this country for the last few years, and we've seen this new restorative justice nonsense where law enforcement stands down and lets good citizens of all races suffer horrifyingly because of rabid mobs of people doing horrible things. We've seen it at shoplifting sprees, robbery sprees, arsons, looting, all kind of nonsense, right? And if you look at it, it has nothing to do with race, because if the white crowds historically had engaged in that behavior, which unfortunately for your math, they didn't.
That's
right?
an absolute
no,
lie,
you're
Charles.
lying. Right there,
white kids do the same thing black kids do
the
during
last
spring
2
break.
years in a row.
There was incidents that they chose to label as riots. When black kids have an incident, it's a riot. When white kids have one, it's only an incident.
When
it's
there
an
is
altercation.
a riot, it's a riot, right? And
Black
that's the
folks
thing.
didn't go to Miami Beach and have no damn riot.
Yes,
they labeled
absolutely
it that
did.
because they had an
And
agenda.
it has see, that's the thing. You don't want it to have real conversations about violent crime
Charles,
in America.
that's racial profiling.
It's not about racial profiling. It's about reality, right? And that's the real sad thing. It's because by you refusing to have real conversations, you stymie actual solutions for everyone of every race that is a law-abiding, rule-following person, right? The truth is, when you look at violent crime, right, African-American male violent criminals are incredibly overrepresented, incredibly. And when you break down the white category between Latino and white, and you factor for all the people wrongfully identified as white, it's even more glaring. It's something like 17-1. Right?
But
so,
black neighborhoods and black men are policed a whole lot different than white men. And there are more cops in the black community than there is in the white neighborhoods. So they can do things in black neighborhoods about dealing with black men that they don't go to white neighborhoods and deal with young white boys the same way.
The truth is, and you never want me to finish my sentence, the truth is that the people that suffer the most because of this, because of your refusal to talk the truth, are law-abiding, rule-following black men, because they get thrown in. It's about 1.8%, right, of the, and let's just talk about murder, right? Murder, African-American male criminals are incredibly overrepresented.
But did no murders take place in Miami Beach during spring break, Charles?
Yes, actually there was. Maybe you should do
So
research.
now we killing people on spring break in Miami Beach, black folks.
But even when you talk about assaults,
like white kids don't die from
robberies,
drug overdoses also during spring break.
They're not worried about the drug overdoses. They're worried about the rioting. And until you start having a real conversation, like why?
Charles, they
why
label
are
it as
African
rioting,
Americans
Charles, for a
overrepresented?
reason.
No, because there was
Because
a riot.
it serves their
they
agenda.
showed the damn video.
No, it serves
They
their
sh-
agenda. That video was not a riot, Charles. We saw police dealing with an incident,
Yes.
but that damn sure looked like no riot to me.
Because Miami's not incredibly diverse, not dominated by Afro-Caribbean population, and Miami Beach as well. And they don't want tourist money. It's because they don't like black. It's because the black people
Charles,
that run the government
they don't want
like
black folks do not run the
spring
government in
breakers.
Miami Beach. That's not true. Charles, the problem is.
I'm sorry,
Charles,
Afro-Caribbeans.
Let me say this to you. Do you know that Miami is 90 miles from Cuba? And if you
Yeah.
go to Cuba right now today, the civil rights struggle in Cuba is absolutely real.
Well,
the
it's 'cause
black
that-
Cubans
it's
are
'cause
not
of
treated the
that
same
thing
as the
you-
white
it's
Cubans.
'cause that
The
thing you
black
love.
Cubans are discriminated
What's
against in
that thing
Cuba,
you love?
and they're treated
communism.
disrespectfully
Because
and
of that
despicably compared to their white
communism.
counterparts in
Oh, you
Cuba.
absolutely have
so
colorism
Miami
in Cuba.
is a reflection of that to a great degree also, Charles.
Okay, first of all, you're absolutely right.
Miami Beach.
Throughout the Caribbean and Latin America, you have colorism and you have all kinds of bigotry. But the truth is, the hard truth that you don't want to accept is that there were riots the last couple of years. The people love tourist dollars. Tourist towns love tourist dollars. They don't like mass violence, shootings, and riots. And that's what happened the last couple of years.
You know
and
what
if it was
upset me?
white kids doing it,
You know what
they'd
upset
have
me?
the same response.
Why did not the
Instead
mayor-
of talking about the problem,
But why did
you
not
want
the
to say,
mayor-
Whitey!
But why did not the
Whitey!
mayor of Miami Beach and the city council say, let's reach out to the organizers of many of these events during spring
'Cause they're
break?
tired of
No,
it.
let me finish.
They're tired of the bull
Why
crap.
didn't they reach out to them and say, look, let us work with you. You work with us to make a safer environment for all kids coming here for spring break. Let us tell you what our needs are during spring break and how we can work together with the spring breakers to make sure you can continue to come and enjoy yourselves. They didn't try to work with the organizers. You know why? Because they don't want black kids there, period.
Okay. The truth is, you've had this occur in a number of places in Florida over the last 3 days.
Galveston, Texas, too.
Daytona, again, Galveston, Texas.
The
There were
historic-
riots.
the historic Capitol
there
Beach
were
party.
riots,
That wasn't
and
a riot.
people were getting hurt.
Oh, you mean the biker rally riots?
Oh, yeah, they're just as
You mean the
bad.
biker rally riots?
I
Not the
disagree with
Capitol
all
Beach
that
party.
crap. Oh, no, the Capitol Beach party went
The
off
Capitol
chain.
Beach party did not commit crimes like those biker rallies.
I know. It's all just white people being bad.
I'm not saying
the
that,
truth
but
is,
don't treat us with a different standard.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree. But the truth is, in Florida, like Daytona Beach pushed out white spring breakers 3 decades ago, right? Time and time again, these beach communities no longer need that one influx of tourist dollars. They'd rather have the family dollars that spend more. And the businesses in Miami Beach are saying, hey, we're not making money. We're not making, we're losing patronage. We're losing business. We're having thefts. We're having crime. We're having vandalism. And we've had it. And they pushed on their very diverse city council.
But we watched the
to do
same thing
something
happen
about
in
it.
Georgia doing Freaknik. Remember the historic Freaknik? The Capitol Beach party, Charles? Let me tell you something.
Honey, what was the
What
running
about South
theme?
Padre Island,
yeah,
Texas?
all the violence.
Girls Gone Wild started with white kids in South Padre Island,
Okay,
Texas.
I agree.
But guess what? Nobody ever said don't come to town.
There is a
Girls were
huge-
being sexually
there
assaulted,
is a
molested, and
huge
raped in South
difference-
Padre
there
Island
is a
during the Girls
huge
Gone Wild
difference
era. Nobody
between
said don't
drinking
bring
and
them.
partying. Oh yeah, actually South Padre did.
They
There
didn't
was a
kick them out.
Huge difference.
Go right there right now
It's
and do a
not
spring break.
racism.
They having fun.
It's not racism. It's rioting.
Yeah, when black folk come to town.
Residents of the city will see a major change in the way police respond. They will no longer respond to calls that aren't considered in-progress emergency. That means calls like criminal mischief, theft, harassment, and most burglary alarms will all be handled by an enhanced telephone reporting unit. That means residents will file a police report over the phone. Officers will not respond unless it's an emergency. Also, between the hours of 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., there will be no officers at any of the 6 stations throughout the city. Call boxes that link directly to 911 have been installed for people to use in case of an emergency. And
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
Well, this news out of Pittsburgh is absolutely disgusting. For years, the far-left progressives were quietly abandoning rule-following poor people in urban areas, largely people of color, with this nonsense restorative justice narratives, right? But since the social justice summer of 2020 and the defund the police movement, they have become more and more brazen about telling crime victims just tough. The goal in Pittsburgh is to reduce the number of responded to police calls from 200,000 to 50,000. Now, they're going to do that by ignoring crime. In the old days, if you had too much crime, well, you'd go out and arrest the damn criminals, right? And I think there are significant issues with our system of justice, right? I strongly disagree with the war on drugs. I strongly disagree with the regressive taxation through citation, ticket writing to balance budgets, which really targets black people. It's horrible. I disagree with those aspects, and I think they are disparately impact people of color, and they're horrible, right? And we need to end those. But what instead we've done is we've just said, oh, please stop doing your damn job on victim crimes. Because now the new narrative, you hear it from the Biden administration on down, is, oh, crime is dropping. Actually, crime is getting incredibly worse. What's dropping is people calling the police because they know the police aren't going to do a damn thing. Why would you call about a burglary, especially poor people that don't have the homeowner's coverage or the renter's insurance? Why would you call about a burglary if you know the police aren't going to come out and do anything to investigate the damn crime, right? This is disgusting. Even more so, and the same thing that they're doing there, they do in Austin. You can't go in Austin, Texas, you can't go to a police station and talk to a cop. It's insane. It's crazy, right? But they're going to do worse in Pittsburgh. They're going to lock the damn doors.
Well,
There's
Charles,
not going to be any policemen there. It's disgusting.
On the surface, this sounds and looks crazy.
It is crazy.
But once you dig deeper into it, you begin to understand that there's some serious underlying issues that has forced the city of Pittsburgh to make some real critical decisions in a critical hour. Pittsburgh realizes that they no longer have enough police officers that they once had 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And a lot of this started when the new civil rights era, some called it protesting against police and defund the cop movement, that a lot of these police officers start quitting the forces.
You mean demonize the cop movement. You're a leader of that.
Let me finish. And so now we'll talk about that. But the issue is Pittsburgh, like many other major cities in America, don't have enough cops anymore. And what they don't want to say is that the white tax base that they used to have in major cities in America because of crime has fled the inner cities to the suburbs.
So they're just going to abandon black people
and
that
so
obey the law?
Let me finish. So what has happened is they don't get that tax dollar that they used to have to serve city needs and have more police officers. And now they're struggling and fighting with city councils in some county districts just to get enough funding to have graduate classes of police officers. Charles, a lot of calls to 911 are calls where people are abusing 911.
That's not true.
This is true,
I love
Charles.
how you lie about stuff.
Charles, you got people calling 911 because the kids won't listen to them.
You do have
You got people calling 911 because their spouse is angry and upset with them.
But that's not the majority of
calls. They got
calls.
people calling
the majority
911
of calls are
saying
about
that
crime,
they think somebody's
you know
sitting
what
out
you
in front of my
get? You
house
get put on
who
hold
should
if
not be
anyone
there.
answers the damn phone.
So what they're going to
911
do,
should be answered and cops should
Charles,
go to crime.
If they have enough cops, yes.
They could have enough
but
cops.
But what are they going to do if they don't have enough
segment of
cops,
America
Charles?
has been saying cops are awful. Instead of saying, how do we fix
Some
policing?
cops are awful.
You've been saying
certainly
all
not
cops.
all,
You've been
but
saying
far too
the
many
majority.
get away with corruption.
The truth is there's been no effort to fix policing. There's been an effort to take money that should go to law enforcement and energy that should go to law enforcement to attack criminals. Awful, evil criminals that victimize. Crime is almost always racially homogenous. Who suffers the most from crime committed by African Americans? African Americans.
Just like
right?
who suffers the most in the Asian community?
Okay.
Crimes committed against
Actually,
Asians are other Asians.
You just picked the
in
one.
the Hispanic community.
You just picked the one wrong
Hispanics
example.
are the ones who are committing
Asians
crimes
largely,
against other Hispanics.
Okay, here's the problem. You just picked the one community. That math doesn't hold up with Asians.
Charles,
unusually
stop.
Commit almost
no
crimes.
So most of the Asian crimes in the Asian community is not Asian on Asian crime.
They're not.
Stop,
in
Charles.
fact, it's actually people of color attacking Asians.
Oh,
They're
stop,
usually the
Charles.
victims.
Stop,
it's true.
Charles.
Maybe you should spend some time
Charles,
with
maybe
the actual
I refuse
statistics.
to spend my time looking at white lies and white lying statistics,
Yes,
Charles.
because
those same statistics give us were the same people that gave us the bell curve who said that we were genetically inferior.
The Biden administration in 2024 is pushing white lies, right? Yes, it's always easy
the
for
Trump
you to say.
administration is
that
too.
It's always easy for you to say
Republicans
white lies
and Democrats pushing white lies.
When truth gets in the way of your narrative. What we need, in fact, what America needs, what black America needs, right, especially in urban areas, is responsive police that aren't busy writing tickets. If you look at Ferguson, the real corruption of Ferguson.
But all America needs that, Charles.
The real corruption of Ferguson was not Michael Brown. It was the oppression of the law-abiding citizens by a
By
white
who?
police, by a white police force,
Exactly.
writing an unbelievable
And so
number
why
of
would you keep funding
tickets
them?
to black people.
And so why would you keep funding them?
What you do is you fix them. You change the leadership.
You know how you fix it?
You don't end
by
policing.
getting rid of
You
all
don't
of them
stand down
and
while people are
hiring new
burning your city
officers
to
that
the
are
damn
better
ground.
trained.
Hey, I'm sure I'm with that.
Get rid of them,
I'm
bring in better
fixing-
trained
but
officers.
That's not what you
But
spend
let's
your-
not continue
That's not what
funding
you
corrupt
and the
police
social
departments.
justice movement have been arguing for the last 5 years. What you've been arguing for is defunding police, ending police,
Charles,
stopping
we
police,
need police.
letting victims suffer.
We need police
Oh, well, let's,
to fight crimes,
okay.
to deal with
Well,
criminals.
they're not doing it in Pittsburgh.
But we need good police.
It's not, okay, but they're
and
not
we
doing
need
it in
police to
Pittsburgh.
police black areas the same way you police white ones.
The
That's
truth
it.
is that we need to be safe in urban areas. I live in the heart of Houston, and it ain't safe.
But
it
in
ain't safe
Houston, they
because
ain't
the
got enough money
police
either.
aren't doing their damn job.
And what they say,
and
they ain't
maybe
got
we
enough
should
cops.
stop spending all our money on
They have enough
illegal
cops.
immigrants with our president apologizing about it, and spend the money on American citizens
Charles,
being safe.
Maybe we should stop
especially
financing
black
wars in
Americans.
Ukraine and Israel and do the same thing.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Charles, there's a very interesting and to some degree a controversial story coming out about one of the most historic, profound transgendered figures, RuPaul, in America. He opens a bookstore with two other individuals with the sole purpose of non-censorship and with the sole purpose of promoting that in that store there would be no banned books, that all books would be included. Well, come to find out, they had books in there about Adolf Hitler, which I can understand people being angry about Adolf Hitler, but guess what though? I do not object to a book about Adolf Hitler being in a bookstore because our children need to know the real truth about Adolf Hitler. That may never happen again if they're thoroughly educated. But what angered them was that there was books that spoke out against the LGBT community. And so they decided, RuPaul and his other two cohort business owners, that they would remove any books, Charles, that did not go along, endorse, and support the homosexual gay lifestyle and the LGBT community. So the lie that they put out that all books would be included, no books would be banned, but the minute that their lifestyles were challenged by books, let's ban those books. Hypocrites.
Well, initially, I believe that RuPaul is a cross-dresser as opposed to transgender. I believe RuPaul puts on a drag show but lives his life as a man.
Well,
right?
I thought they was
just to clarify.
Women, men, whenever they do all that.
I get that you don't like people that are not like.
Well, don't confuse
right?
me.
I get it. You don't like white people. You don't like gay people.
Oh, will you stop,
okay.
Charles?
It's all right. It's all right.
Bless your heart.
It's okay for you to hate.
Bless
right?
your heart.
Because you can't be racist.
I hate
according
what
to you.
God hates.
Okay. God doesn't hate anyone. Maybe you should spend
God-
more time
God
with
hates
I don't
sin.
Know. Maybe your God. The Christian God doesn't hate people.
The Christian
but
God? I'm
whatever.
quoting your Christian Bible.
No, you're not. Anyway, let's go. Let's get back on topic. First of all, this online bookstore, the underlying premise was that they were not going to ban any books. And it wasn't merely books about Adolf Hitler. It was works written by Adolf Hitler that they were selling. And you're right, that Lady Bunny, another drag performer, had a protest or protested about the rainbow capitalism. Before this I was unfamiliar with that term. And I guess that's about gay spending dollars, LGBTQIA, did I get into all of them, spending dollars. But at the end of the day, I think that it's sad and it's bending the knee so many people are bending the knee to the progressive left, because the truth is right now in this time in America, unless you bend the knee to the narratives, like your narratives of abandoning people to crime, social justice, defund the police nonsense, or the narratives of the LGBTQIA community, if you as an American say no to any of those narratives, you're going to get canceled. You threaten your economic future. So it's probably a capitalist-driven solution or driven decision by Allstora for fear of their bookstore being abandoned because they embraced the thought of freedom.
Well, then
right?
why lie?
Well,
in their mission statement,
right.
They said no books would be banned. In their mission statement, they said that no censorship. And when I was reading some of this,
they realized that if they didn't ban books, if they didn't bend their knee to the woke mind virus, that their business was going to go out. You have to, as an American, to speak your mind on controversial topics the way we do every week, right?
That's
Especially
because
as a white man.
That's because we're
Hold
not
on,
owned
hold on.
by
Right,
anyone.
but that's my point.
Nobody owns Charles Adams and Quanell X. That's a huge
It's a
difference.
lot easier for you to do it than me, because as a white man in America right now, if you want to talk about race relations, if you want to talk, like for you as a black man, if you talk about, I mean, you're prone to anti-Semitism, but if you talk about Jewish people, if you talk about Muslim people,
No, if I
you
criticize
can
Jewish,
criticize Christians,
some members of the Jewish community,
you can
I'm
criticize
anti-Semitic.
Christians,
But if I
you
criticize
can hate on
Muslims,
white folk,
I'm not anti-Muslim.
But if you hate on anyone,
but if I criticize
white
black
folk and
leaders, I'm
Christians,
not anti-black.
you're gonna get
But
canceled.
if I criticize white ones, I'm anti-white.
And the truth is, this bookstore said, hey, we're going to sell it all. And we're going to let grown-ass people make their own grown-ass decisions.
And they lied.
And, well, they didn't lie. They got threatened by the woke mind virus, by Lady Bunny cross-dressers.
So they lied.
Okay, then they made a business decision.
They bowed down and kissed the feet of those individuals and institutions that want everybody to conform
But you're part of that
to their
problem.
mindset. No,
You've
Charles.
been trying to get
Let me tell you
people
something,
canceled
Charles.
for years for
That's
that
not true,
same
Charles.
crap.
Let me tell you something, Charles. All of us who believe and follow the word of God as best as we can are in danger of being counseled. If you stand with God on anything in Scripture today that goes against the political norm or the political correctness of the day, you're in danger of being
You're
counseled.
absolutely wrong.
And
You're
if Jesus
absolutely
Christ
wrong.
returned right now today and walked into City Hall or any government building, any police station, hell, even any school, he would be censored and he probably would be locked up, Christ himself. So we're all in danger if we stand and speak the truth about what God hates and what God loves. We can be censored and we can be counseled.
Say, hey, the treatment of women in the Islamic world is horrifying. If you stand
In
up
some
and say,
countries,
in the
yes.
overwhelming majority of
In
Islamic
some countries, yes.
If you stand up and say the treatment of gay people in Islamic countries is horrifying.
No.
If you stand up
No.
and say,
If you stand up and say,
the treatment
as
of-
a Muslim country, we
treatment-
have a right to believe and follow our theological
If
beliefs,
you
and we will not
criticize-
allow the West
if you
to dictate
criticize-
to Africa and the Muslim world how we should believe.
Okay, again, if you criticize Islamic oppression of women that is justified by your religion, then you threaten to
That's
be
not
canceled.
justified by the religion.
The only thing you can criticize now is you can say whatever horrible, bigoted, racist thing about white people you want. That's okay, right? And nobody pushes back. You do it all the damn time.
Charles,
And
every nation
you can
has a
criticize-
struggle with
you
equal
can
rights for
you
women.
can criticize Christians all you want, but you
No.
can't criticize
Christians
Muslims or Jews.
need to criticize themselves.
Jesus Christ.
Because they have totally compromised the word of God in America,
It makes
and they
me
bow down
sad.
to political correctness
It makes
and not
me
biblical
sad
correctness.
that they're not being able to honor their mission statement about selling all books so people can make their
'Cause they
decisions.
lied.
But you're to blame.
Because they
But
lied.
you're to blame.
Oh, hell no.
It's your
I want all
nonsense.
books there.
Your threat
I
of
want all
liberty.
books there.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Book banning is a horrible thing, right? But limiting what's available in elementary and junior high libraries has been painted as book banning unfairly, right? I think All-Star had a wonderful mission statement. I hate that they abandoned it because I think people should be able to read whatever they want and come to adult decisions. And they should be able to buy what they want and come to adult decisions. I feel very differently about, I mean, the suicide rate in the trans community, the LGBT community, it's horrifying, right? And we do need books in elementary schools and junior highs that tell gay kids, hey, it's absolutely normal, there's nothing wrong with you, you're not discriminated. We don't need books, what we have in many places in America right now, talking about how to give an adult man oral sex when you're a teenager or using butt plugs, that kind of stuff. But we also don't need those kind of books about heterosexual relations. All-Star had a great mission, right? And they've abandoned it because of the intolerance of the progressive left. And that's to blame, right? And then when I was growing up, when Quanell was growing up, it was the right that was intolerant. Remember all the stickers they made them put on rap albums, and Tipper Gore, despite being a Democrat, and all that, the Christian Coalition movement to ban information and music? That was the Republicans. It's weird how the pendulum has swung, right? And police need to do their damn job.
You know, Charles wants to talk about censorship in rap music. But yes, there was the right 2 decades ago pushing censorship on black hip hop artists. but it really should have been black people and black leaders and black parents pushing censorship on our own community to make sure that rappers were not generating and preaching and seeing a lifestyle that is self-destructive and that has cost so many young black lives, because we're now giving music that kills the mind and not builds the mind. This censorship about the book place, let me say this. RuPaul and his co-owners, they know exactly what they're doing. They lied to the American people when they said no book would be banned, that this will be a store designed and set up to be inclusive of all books. But the minute they found a book or two that criticized the LGBT community in any type of way, now they want censorship. Now they go against their mission statement and get rid of those books. To the Christian community, I'm warning you, brothers and sisters, no matter what your race is as a Christian, within 20 years, there's going to be a movement in this country to ban the Bible. Watch.
That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.